Imagine this. You spent the last 6 months in the studio, you've poured your heart, your savings and countless sleepless nights into a single track. Release day comes, you hit publish and then nothing. Or worse, you get that one snarky comment from a stranger online. In that moment, it doesn't feel like the song didn't land. It feels like you didn't land. It feels like a personal failure of your very being. As a BSc in psychology and a systemic coach, I see this daily. Musicians don't just make music, they are their music. But this fusion is a double-edged sword. Today we're going to talk about why we tie our self-worth to a performance, why that's a psychological trap, and most importantly, how you can untangle your identity from your art to stay creative and mentally healthy for the long haul. In psychology, we distinguish between two types of self-esteem: stable and fragile. Stable self-esteem is like a house built on a wide foundation. Fragile self-esteem, however, is performance dependent. It's like a house built on a single pillar. If that pillar, your music career, shakes, the whole house collapses. This we call identity fusion. When you're fused into your role as a musician, there is no you outside of the music. During my studies and my work in systemic coaching, I've seen how dangerous this is. Because, let's be honest, the music industry is volatile. If the stage is taken away, whether it's through a pandemic, an injury, or simply a change in trends, who's left? If you don't know who you are without your instrument, without your music, every like becomes a hit of oxygen and every dislike becomes a lack of air. That's not a career, that's an emotional roller coaster. Now, let's look at this through a systemic lens. As an organizational developer, I analyze systems. The music industry is a system designed to optimize for attention, not for your well-being. We often try to satisfy deep-seated human needs, the need for belonging, for being seen, for love, through market metrics. We look at Spotify streams or ticket sales as a measurement of our human value. And here's the truth. Algorithms evaluate data. They don't evaluate souls. When you confuse these two things, you enter what we call an external validation loop. You become a servant to the system's feedback rather than a master of your own resources. You're essentially outsourcing your happiness to a piece of code that doesn't know you exist. This leads to burnout because the system's hunger for content is infinite, but your psychological resources are not. So how do we fix this? How do we build a psychological firewall between who you are and what you produce? Here are 3 coaching strategies. The identity pie. Grab a piece of paper, draw a circle. This is your identity pie. Now be honest, how big is the musician slice? Is it 90%? Then you are in danger zone. I want you to actively grow the other slices. Are you a partner, a dog owner, a hiker, a cook? Investing time in those non-musical roles isn't a distraction, it's risk management for your soul. Strategy 2, role differentiation. Think of being a musician as a professional role, not your entire identity. Just like a doctor puts on a white coat, you have a performer role. On stage, you are the product, the artist, the persona. But when you come home, you need a ritual to take the coat off. It could be a shower, a specific type of tea, or a 10-minute meditation, whatever you like. Explicitly tell yourself the performer is resting now. The person is home. Strategy 3, process versus result orientation. We need to shift our definition of success. If your success is 10,000 streams, you are at the mercy of the result, which you can't fully control. If your success is, I spent 4 hours today exploring a new chord progression that gave me goosebumps, you are focused on the process. You have 100% control over the process. This protects your self-regulation because your win is no longer dependent on the outside world. Here's the great paradox. When you stop needing music to validate your existence, your music actually gets better. You become braver, you take risks. Why? Because you're no longer playing for your life, you just play. Your art is a beautiful expression of who you are, but it is not the sum of who you are. A bad review or an empty room says nothing about your value as a human being. I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt that post-release crash? How do you handle criticism or low engagement? As a coach, I'm deeply interested in your strategies for staying sane in this beautiful, chaotic industry. Let's start a conversation in the comments. If this helped you, consider subscribing to Music and Mind. We'll be diving deeper into the systemic and psychological side of being a creator. Until next time, take care of your mind. It's your most important instrument. See you.